Aloha from Hawaii. Oh boy.
I love you.
We love you.
The radiance is so beautiful. There's usually one person in the audience in a regular lecture. This is different. That's usually brought by their husband or their wife, and they just sit cross. And I usually spot that person, and I cuddle up to them, and usually it doesn't work. But the wheelchair does wonders. Namaste.
Namaste. I'm really happy to be here, R.D. Yeah, this is great for me. Well, you know, when I invited you back for that talk at Harvard, and you gave the talk in a long white gown, kulfi, I guess.
Yeah.
And you had this jola, and you had a big white beard, and you sat cross-legged on the desk instead of going to the podium. And it was clear that not only was there something else, you were also something else. And you were channeling Maharaji so strongly. You've just been back a few months, and the Shakti in the room was unbelievable. And this is a room, at Harvard that had never had an ounce of Shakti in it before. So it lasted and lasted. And I think it was a taste for, I think what you were doing and have done all these years is been a conduit for Maharaji, and given people a felt sense of this other way of being.
But remember, when we talked, you said that somebody, a fellow psychologist, asked you about me.
Yeah, so the next day I'm having lunch with one of my clinical psychology professors who hadn't gone to the talk, and he wants to hear about the talk, and I'm saying, well, this guy sat on the table cross-legged for 5 hours, and he was wearing a gown, and he was carrying some kind of bag, and what you were saying, and then he says to me, in a kind of confidential clinical tone, he says, tell me, is he psychotic?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, well, if this is psychosis, I'd like some too. It's pretty good.
This year I celebrated Christmas by going for a swim in the ocean, and up from the bottom came a turtle. It must have been 100 years old. Way big. And then it came up and took some air, went down again. And it was unexpected, and I was frightened because it was so big under me. But then when somebody said, it's a very loving turtle. And I felt my heart go out to the turtle. And all there was love with this turtle. And it was my head, fear, and then love. My wisdom suggests that I don't know anything. Identify with the real self in the heart. That's a doing thing. And you also might, to remind yourself, say, I am awareness here. I am a loving awareness. And then bring your attention to that space, and you just be. You just be. All you do is be awareness. That's not doing. You are that, so you're being awareness.
I can feel it just being with you. I was a little nervous about interviewing you. I was thinking to myself, what am I going to say? Am I going to ask the right questions? But just, it's be here now. It's being with your soul, right? It's just
be here now is beautiful. The instruction and to people to be here now, because again with the mind. When you take the future and the past out of the mind, because the future and the past are thoughts. That's all there. All your past is a thought, and I say, once you get in this moment. This moment, go into the moment and get rid of the past and get rid of the future and just go into this. That's where you will face God. That's where you will face the immensity of the universe in the moment. In the moment. And I can't treat the present as if I had the eyes I had 20 years ago. 20 years ago and earlier, I had human motives that I was struggling with. And now they've calmed down. They're still around, but they're calm. I went in my past, I was identified with my motives. I was identified with sexual desire. I was identified with power desire. I was identified with sensual desire. But now they're little schmooze. I have them, but they aren't me. God has a closet with different suits. There's a Jesus suit, and there's Buddha suit, and he's going to not he. Not
Thank
he.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Different dresses.
Can I tell the truth real quick?
Okay. Don't go too far now.
Truth.
I am terrified of you. That's the truth. You invited me to do
Yeah.
this, to come here and do this many, many months ago. And I've been nervous ever since. And, yesterday you said that you don't have any... I know! Yesterday you said you don't have any regrets in life. And I was thinking, well, he's about to have one, letting me be up here on stage. But I was thinking, as I was thinking about this, about being up here with you and getting to chat with you and Raghu, I realized that the way I feel about you is the exact way that I feel about love, which is that it's terrifying. I don't feel like I deserve it, but I desperately want it in my life. And I think that's the way that I feel about you, Ram Dass.
Maharaji is a fisherman, and you're the fish, and I'm the worm.
You could have said bait.
Look at each bead and see the name of God. God bless you.
Thank you.
It's all right to say
Yeah,
God bless
yeah,
you
God, to a Buddhist.
Yes.
Well, whoever it is, I accept. I accept. So if people want to live in a way that is both happy or joyful in a deep way and connected to life, they need to find some way in their life to listen to or be tuned to the spiritual heart.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
to that dimension of love that ties the emotional and spiritual together. Is that right?
That is so right.
back down, the road was closed because there had been a big accident. An army truck fell over and all the ammunition fell everywhere.
Whoa.
So that morning they were pulling the truck up out of the. So the road was closed. So I called and left a message, saying Ma shouldn't wait for me because we don't know how late it is. The road will be closed, and then it wound up opening up in about 25 minutes instead of like 2 or 3 hours, I think. So I got there, and she said, I wasn't going to wait for you. You've been here so long. She said, Krishnadas is coming. I'm not going to wait for you. And she grabbed me.
The guy came to see me, and he said, "You were the guy that talks to your dead girl?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't you know that's in your imagination?" I said, "Yeah." You guys, what's in your imagination?
None of your business.
That's the Buddhist view, right? None of your business.
There's no safety anywhere in the room except in you as the caregiver. There's something in you that knows this from direct experience, that death is safe, or trust the catcher.
That's right. That's right.
Very beautiful.
Right?
Thanks, boss.
And I just saw emptiness and love being the same thing.
How can they be the same thing?
Because emptiness really is empty of self.
Oh.
And so when self is gone, then there's no
empty
separation.
self. And then you go into love.
Yes.
Wow.
If there's no self, there's no other.
No self, no other. Then you enter into emptiness. That's what I was, the word emptiness got me.
Yeah. Well, you definitely chose the better word. I mean, between love and emptiness, let's say, I'll take emptiness. Most people, you have the better PR word.
I empty you.
But if you take the I and the you out of it, then there's just love or just emptiness or whatever you want to call it.
That's what unconditional love.
Uh-huh.
That love, I had never experienced that love. All my parents and my professors and my friends, they wanted loving me to this and to that and be a good boy and da. And then he was loving me, just loving me. Just loving me. It was empty. It was empty. I have
have faith in spirit. And I don't have faith in what people tell me or books tell me. Because that intuition, like I can be faith in Maharaji, but I don't have faith in Hinduism. That's a terrible thing to say.
Love your breath. 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 You are a being, a conscious being, an aware being, a loving being, a light being, a peaceful being, a wise being. Namaste. Perfect, perfect. Perfect, perfect.
When you get it, you got something. Don't worry, 'cause I'm coming. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. I got what I got the hard way. To make it better each and every day. Oh, honey, I said, don't you fret, because you ain't seen nothing yet.